I am Ritika Bajpayee from Axis Institute of Planning and Management, Kanpur. I am working as assistant professor there. So today in this video we are going to discuss about the business and types of business organizations. So first of all we will discuss what is business. Business is basically defined as an organization or commercial enterprising entity engaged in any industrial or professional activities. Business can be profit entities or they can be non-profit organizations as well that operate to fulfill a charitable mission or further social cause. The term business also refers to the organized efforts and business activities of individuals to produce and sell goods and services for profit. Business ranges in scale from a sole proprietorship to an international corporation. So now let us see what are the goals of business. There can be many goals of business. Generally we have an idea that a business runs for a profit earning and to serve the society. But apart from that, there are also number of business goals that we are going to discuss here. The very first is profit. Every business runs because it wants to earn profit by selling goods and services to the society. The second one is growth. When a business excels at its goods and services, it basically grows at a good level. The next is power. If a business is getting better, it is earning profit and growing with a rapid movement, it will get the power gradually, and with the help of that power, that business can introduce a change in the society. Next is employee satisfaction and development. A business also helps the employee to satisfy in getting their needs. A business helps in satisfying its employees and it also helps in development of its employees. Next is quality products and services. The main goal of a business is to provide quality products and services. With the help of quality products and services, a business can excel in the market and it can also make the factor of brand loyalty among the customers. Next is market leadership. Business also gets a market leadership by increasing the market share. Next is joy of creation. A business enjoys the joy of creation by fulfilling the needs and demands of the society. The last one is service to society. A business serves the society by providing the quality products and services. Next is types of business organization. There are basically 5 categories or 5 types of business organization. The first one is sole proprietorship. Second is a partnership firm, next is joint Hindu family, next is cooperative society and then joint stock company. Now we will discuss about every type of organization in detail. The first one is sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is also known as the one-man business because a single man or a proprietor runs the whole business. Here we can see the meaning of sole proprietorship as a sole proprietorship can be explained as a kind of business or an organization that is owned, controlled and operated by a single individual who is the sole beneficiary of all profit or loss and responsible for all risk. Now we will see the advantages of sole proprietorship. The very first is quick decision making. As sole proprietorship is a one-man business, so decision making process is very quick in sole proprietorship as the proprietor need not to concern with anyone. Next is confidentiality of information. The single owner of a business dealing with every detail of the business, he is the only one who is making all these strategies. He is the only one who is indulged in the strategy formulation and implementation. So, in that case the sole proprietorship is having all the information and the confidentiality of information also maintains in that case. Next is direct incentive. The proprietor gets direct incentive of the proprietor gets direct incentive of whatever the organization is earning. Next is sense of accomplishment. When a proprietor achieves something in his business, that person is the only one who feels the sense of accomplishment. Like if we talks about a joint stock company, we cannot say that a single person has earned such profit. For example, if we take ITC, if ITC did better in a quarter, then we cannot say that a particular person of ITC did well in a particular quarter. But in sole proprietorship we can say that yes, the proprietor of this business, Mr. XYZ, Mr. X has done well in a particular quarter. Next is ease of formation and closure. As sole proprietorship is a one-man business, so there are very less legal formalities and very less documentation in the formation and closure of sole proprietorship. Next is limitations of sole proprietorship. In sole proprietorship, the very first limitation is a sole proprietor is having limited resources, because he is the only one who is indulged in all the activities. He has to arrange all the things, all the resources. So, in that case he might have limited resources. Next is limited life of a business concern. In the case of sole proprietor, the life of a business concern is limited because he is the only one who is running business. Next is unlimited liability. The sole proprietor is having unlimited liability of his business, as there is no one partner, there is no other partner to share the burdens. Next is limited managerial capacity. A sole proprietor might be having a good skill set, a sole proprietor might have a good skill set, but it is not always necessary that he is having a good managerial capacity. That somewhere limits the growth of organization. Now, we will see the next form of business organization, that is partnership. Partnership is a kind of business where a formal agreement between two or more people is made who agree to be co-owners, distribute responsibilities for running an organization and share the income or losses of that the business generates. In India, all the aspects of functions of the partnership are administered under the Indian Partnership Act 1932. Now, we will see the types of partner. The very first is general, working or active partner. This kind of partner is also known as real partner, because he is the one who is actually working in the partnership firm. This is the person who takes an active part in all work related to partnership business, like he is the one who is indulged in a strategy strategy formulation and implementation. Next is he looks after the management and functioning of business and binds the firm through his actions. Next is his liabilities are limited. His liabilities are unlimited. He remains liable for his actions even after he quits the firm. As the name suggests, working partner or active partner, so he is supposed to be active all the time even after he leaves the firm. Next is limited partner. A limited partner is the one who has limited liabilities. As the name suggests, limited partner. So, this type of partner is having limited liabilities. His liabilities are limited to extent of capital employed by him in business. Under such kind of partnership, there must be at least one general partner whose liabilities are unlimited. Like in a partnership firm, all the partners cannot be a limited partner. There must be one partner whose liabilities are unlimited, because in that case the functioning of that organization, of that partnership firm will be hampered. Limited partner can neither function as an agent or take an active part in the management of business, because if a limited partner is going to have an active part in the business, so he must take all the responsibilities at unlimited concern, which is not possible in his case. Next is inactive, dormant or sleeping partner. Sleeping partners or inactive partners are those who invest capital in business, share the profit and loss of the firm, but do not take active part in the management. As the name suggests, they are dormant. What they supposed to do? They supposed to invest capital in the business and take the share of profit and loss only. They are not taking part in any kind of business activity, they are not attending the board meetings, they are not involved in the policy formulation and implementation. They are only investing the money and getting the profit in or loss. Next is nominal partner. Nominal partner, as the name suggests, is for the sake of name only. The one who gives his name to the firm is known as nominal partner. Nominal partner is the one who neither invests any money in the business of firm, nor takes to do any work of firm. Like he is only giving his name and people are investing in that particular firm just because of the name of particular partner. Like if being a customer, when we are going to purchase a product, we used to see in the advertisement that who is endorsing that particular product, which actor or actresses is endorsing that particular product. So, that somewhere makes the perception of customers, which contributes in the purchase of that particular product. In the same way, in a partnership firm, when a person is going to invest, investors see that who is associated with that particular firm. If a person who is having a good repo in the market, a good image, so what people will do, they used to trust on that person, that if for example, Amitabh Bachchan is a role model for many of us. So, if Amitabh Bachchan is associated with some firm, some partnership firm, so what people will think, if that particular actor is associated, so this firm is actually reliable, we can trust on this firm, our investments are not going to waste. So, people will invest in that firm. A nominal partner allows his name only and take the benefit of his reputation, because of his reputation people are investing in that particular organization. Such a person is also liable to third parties, because people are continuing their relation with that particular firm because of the name of this nominal partner. If that partner was not associated with that firm, people might not invest in that particular firm. So, if a fraud occurs in the organization or their investment goes down, so in that case nominal partner is liable to the third parties. Next is minor partner. Generally, we have studied that according to the Indian Contract Act, the essential elements of the Indian Contract Act does not allow any minor to be the part of a contract, but here in the case, as per the Indian Contract Act, a minor can't be induced in the business of a firm as an independent partner. Okay. So, the basic difference is, according to Indian Contract Act, a minor cannot be a partner, he is not eligible to be a partner. But when we are taking a minor as a partner in a partnership firm, we are not making him or her an independent partner. Okay. But with the consent of all the partners, that minor can be included to get a share in the profits of firm. He is not having any relation with the loss. If a firm faces loss in a particular quarter or in particular year, the minor is not going to liable for that. But if a firm earns profit, then minor will get the profit. He is like a limited partner and his liabilities are also limited to the firm. Next is partner in profits only. Partner in profits only says that a person who invests money in business firm with consent of all the partners only to get some share in the profit of the firm and not be liable for losses of any kind. Like if a partner is becoming, if someone is becoming a partner in profit only, so he is investing his money just because he wants share in profit. He don't want to share the loss. The same is the situation with partner in profit. He has no right to take part in the management of firm, but he remains liable to third parties like rest of the partner, because he is taking the profits of organization, profits from that particular company. But there is one thing we need to remember, that partner in profit don't take part in the management of firm. In any decision of the management, that partner in profit is not involved. Next is incoming partner. A person entering into the partnership of the firm on permanent basis with the consent of all the partners is known as the incoming part. Like a firm has been, a partnership firm has been started in 2008, but in 2011 a person wants to be the partner of that particular firm. So, he will be called as incoming partner, because he is becoming the part of that particular firm while that concern is going on. Normally, he pays some premium amount to be the part of that particular firm, and he gets induced to the partnership on account of services rendered by other partners and goodwill generated by them. Like an incoming partner was not the part of that particular firm from the beginning. Like a firm, as I have given the example of earlier, that a firm has been started in 2008 and Mr. X wants to be the part of that particular firm in 2011. So, he will give a premium amount, we need to remember, and one more thing, that he will enjoy the goodwill and profit of business that remaining partners have earned in that particular years. In 3 years, rest of the partners have worked for the organization, they have created a goodwill, they have created a good brand image, they have provided better quality products and services to the organization, and someone is becoming is coming in between and becoming the partner of firm. So, he is known as the incoming partner. Next is outgoing partner. If a person wants to leave the organization in between, like if a firm has been started, if a partnership firm has been started for a period of 25 years, but and there were 3 partners, Mr. X, Y and Z, but Mr. X wants to leave the organization before completion of 25 years. So, he will be known as outgoing partner. As we can see in the slide, it is written that a person who breaks his relationship with the business of the firm and quits is known as outgoing partner. He has to make a public declaration of his separation from the firm so that he may remain free from future liabilities. Otherwise, people will think that Mr. X is still the part of organization and if any fraud or anything happens with the investment of the customers, of the investors, or if the firm is not is no more providing better services to its customer. So, people will think that I have started to be the people will think that they invested in that particular firm or started to be the part of that firm just because of Mr. X, and now Mr. X is not the part of organization. So, that misconception will continue. So, in order to stop that misconception at that time, outgoing partner is supposed to declare that he is leaving that particular firm. Next is partner by estoppel or holding out. If a person verbally or in writing or through his actions behave in such a way which makes other persons believe that he is partner while he is actually not a partner. Like in layman terms, we can understand that if you are attending a particular occasion of your in your family, and one person is indulged in all the activities, you are observing that a particular person is involved in each and every function of and every activity. So, what you will suppose that this person is part of this particular family. The same happens with a partnership firm. If a person is knowingly or through his actions pretending that he is part of that particular firm, he is taking part in all the meetings, he is involved in all the documentation and all the things. So, what people will think that this person is a partner in particular firm, but actually he is not a partner. So, in that case he will known as partner by holding out or estoppel. In that case, where now the question comes that if a person has invested in a partnership firm due to this partner by holding out, he supposed a person to be the partner and he invested that particular firm. So, the partner by holding out will be responsible or not. So, yes, the partner by holding out will be obviously responsible because people have pretended that because people have believed that this particular person is part of that firm, that is why they have invested. So, this partner by estoppel will also be responsible, he is having the unlimited liabilities. Next is merits of partnership firm. The very first is easy to start and dissolve. As we have seen in the earlier slides that partnership firm is all the formulation and dissolve of partnership firm is according to the Indian Partnership Act 1932. So, it is easy to follow that particular act and start and dissolve the firm. Next is higher capital, because there are many partners. So, there are many sources to get the capital. Next is reduction of workload. Partners share the workload and burden, in that way the workload reduced. Next is better decision, as every partner gives his or her opinion. So, it helps in taking better decisions in the partnership firm. Next is reduced risk, as there are many partners, they have their own liabilities. So, it reduces the risk. Next is demerits of a partnership firm. First is no business secrets, as we have seen in the sole proprietorship that a single proprietor having all the secrets, he is managing everything, but in the partnership firm there is no such case. Partners are involved in every activity, so there is no business secret. Next is uncertain existence. There is uncertain existence of partnership firm, because if any single person leaves the partnership, that partnership deed becomes void. A new partnership deed is required again. Next is delay in decisions, because every partner have to give a clean chit to every decision, that is why there is often delay in the decisions. Next is danger of conflict. The partners of firm may have their individual interest So, sometimes it leads to the danger of conflict. Next is difficulty in transfer of shares. As every partner is having their own investment, they are having their individual shares. So, if one person wants to transfer his or share to other, it is very difficult process in a partnership firm. Like if we see in a joint stock company, a public limited company, the process is quite easy. We can easily purchase the shares of the company, we can easily transfer the shares, but in a partnership firm this process is quite difficult, because that again needs a new partnership deed with the new investment criterias and the new percentage, and partners will get the profit, will share the liabilities according to them as well. Okay. So, here are the references from which I have prepared this slide. Thank you.